Alright, here we have the coordinates of the bug cage on the server. 71.8, 50.2. Set those. It will mark it directly in the center of the bug cage. Here's where we have for taming bugs on the server. Just want to walk everybody through kind of how it's done using this cage. So the reason the cage is so large is because found that in ASA, the bugs do not impregnate reliably if at any point during the impregnate process they touch a structure. If so, it will cause them to basically fail to impregnate. So I designed a cage that is big enough to allow the tame to be in the middle, even a Bronto, and have the bug plenty of room in order to do its whole process without actually being able to escape. So if we come down here, we're going to go through the basics of the process. Go ahead and put this thing in tribe storage. All right, so here's the cage. Information. Oh, there's a snake. Hold on. Beaver. Okay. Keep in mind, it's right next to the swamp. Okay, it's not safe. Bring the appropriate dinos. All right, inside of here, there's some signs and stuff, giving some basic information, but I'm going to walk you through it all. In here, I have all of the big eggs that you need for cravings, which we'll go over in a second. And this is the golden eggs for the cravings. I also brought with me a shoulder pet that is currently carrying all of the other things that you need for cravings. I'll put a list of the full list of cravings up now for you. And you can take a look, make sure you bring everything that you need. Basically, you need to meet the cravings in order to get good dinos out of it. I do provide tech binoculars in here, as long as you're over level 100, and I'll show you why you need that. Otherwise, you need your tame in here, saddle equipped, and you need berries or meat, depending on what you're using. You need food. So this is a completely unleveled Bronto, mainly because it was hatched recently. You do not want any more melee than what the dino has by itself, and you need to be careful with how much damage that you do. Beaver's just here for more berries. I can show you an area later where you can gather them. All right, so before you start, you're going to need your pheromone. You're going to need all of the things that it could get for cravings outside of the eggs that are provided in these collectors. Then you start. Because once you start, you can't pause the process, and it goes pretty quickly, right? So in here we have the food. On me, I have the craving stuff. Okay, we'll go ahead and grab a pheromone. Grab the shortest duration one. 11, 18. Looks like this one. How to get these pheromones. These pheromones come from killing male Rhyniognatha's. You can only get impregnated from the females. Okay, in order to do so, you have it in the dino. Don't mind my Bronto. They're ugly, I know. Okay. So we're going to come in here. Once you have everything ready, I'm going to leave the beaver. He'll be fine. You have to take your tame to the center of the cage. Bring your tame out here. Get in position. The way I like to do it is before I even start, I like to turn the dino facing the door so that it's easier to get out and close without having the bug escape or get into the door lock with you, because that complicates everything. Okay, so I get in position to where I'm facing the door. Right? Tech binos. When they're out, if you left click on something, it will tag it so that even when you put them away on the right side of the screen, I still have all the stats for the dino. This is important because I have to monitor the health. Okay? Rhyniognatha will only impregnate if it is at or below 10% health. So basically just drop the last digit of the health. So we're at 4725. So I need the health to be under 472 in order to impregnate. So here's where you need to be extra careful that you do not kill the bugs. Okay? You'll attack. You'll see how much damage you do. I do 207 with this Bronto. I will do 207 with this Bronto every time I attack. So now I'm going to attack until I start getting close to the 10%, and then we're going to pace it out. Nice and slow. Okay, so we're going to get it low. Nice and low. You do not want to rush this by trying to do more damage with something else, because it's very easy to accidentally kill them. Just wait for it to come back into range. Bugs have weird AI sometimes. Don't worry. It'll come back. Okay. Back to hitting it. Watching its health very carefully. Okay, now that we're getting close, now we need to watch. I need it under 472, but I do 207 damage. So one more, and we are under, okay? Now that we are under the 10%, I didn't do it in this clip, however, in later testing, I did find that if you wait to feed the pheromone to the tame until the bug is out doing its ranged attacks, it will speed up the rate at which it will do its impregnation attack. I found on repeat attempts that if I wait until it's out there, the next available action that it has, so if it's already in the middle of an attack, it will finish that attack, but then the next available action will almost always be to impregnate the dino. Now we use the pheromone. Just hit E on it inside the inventory. You'll get the glow. You'll get a buff. It looks like a larva up in the top right. And then we wait. All we do is wait. If the bug happens to somehow get itself wedged under the dino, you can simply, like, wiggle it around a little bit until it gets itself unwedged. But there's no rush. You have the full timer. The only thing you have to do is you have to keep an eye on its health, right? It has to be under 10% in order to impregnate. So here soon, it's going to pass above the 472, and we're going to have to hit it again. But we're not rushing it. We do not want it extra low. We just want to be careful. So I'm going to wait until it passes the threshold before I hit it. It's doing its thing. Like I said, if at any point you think that it's stuck under there, you can just wiggle the tame around a little bit to try and get it unstuck. I don't think it's stuck, but I'm stuck on it. Okay, here's the impregnate. You'll see the buff changes to orange and the bug flies away. Immediately run out of the cage. While it's in this flee thing, it's just going to flee into the corner. Random corner. Which provides you plenty of time to get over here to the door lock. You'll dismount. Close the door behind you. This closes the bug back in the cage, so it's not lost. Now, you start the craving process. If you look here, it says incubation time remaining, and Brontosaurus will have a craving in X amount of time. Every time that timer goes off, it's going to tell you what it craves from that list, and you need to feed it what it craves, which we'll show you in a minute. Also, you'll notice that just hitting E doesn't mount. However, if you do need to mount up and it still has a saddle, you can hold E, and up and to the right is ride, and it will put you back on the dino. All right, here we go. Achatina paste. Okay, so I'm going to come in here, and I need one Achatina paste right here. And then I hold E on the dino, and up there where it said ride, you'll get a feed option. Now it needs another craving in 4 minutes, or a little under 4 minutes. Wanted to add a clip of this. There can be a bug sometimes with what it's requesting for a craving. Sometimes it requests something, but that's not what it actually wants. I only encountered this bug once out of all the bugs that I've done, so it's relatively rare. However, I'm told you can de-render the area to also fix it, but if you don't want to leave the area, like I didn't want to, the workaround that I found and used was if you put one of each of the things it can ask for in your inventory and then attempt to feed it what it says that it wants, it will take what it actually wants. Now, lucky for me, it did not want one of the eggs that are in the collectors behind me because I forgot to grab one of each of those when I did this. However, it did want one of the soups that I have. So I put one of each in my inventory, and then I go ahead and tell it to eat the absorbent substrate, and it will actually eat what it wanted. Once you get to the 5th craving and you meet it, you'll see that the craving timer doesn't show back up, and you're only left with the incubation time. This lets you know how long you have until you need to be ready for the end. Now at the end is the only time that you need to force feed. Now here I'm showing that I started a little bit early, but after testing, you can wait all the way up until the last 5 seconds or less to start force feeding. Again, you want to force feed the food at the very end. That way it does not die to a tick of starvation. It only dies to the bug coming out. Then you simply wait. Tame dies, bug explodes out, and then you claim it. Alright, if you need to get berries at the cage, the best place that I've found that's nearby, come right up here, right up to this front side, on whatever berry gathering dino you have. This area right here, this density, where these cattails are and all these like little leaves sticking up out of the ground, the density is crazy high. So you just come out here and get a bunch, obviously kill whatever you aggro because it's the swamp. But coming out here, you can get all the berries you could possibly need. I'll leave you guys with this formula from the wiki for how stats are dictated. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments below. But otherwise, I think that's going to do it for our bug taming guide. Wish you guys the best of luck.